Hi, I'm Betty Gilpin, and I am in studio with The Hollywood Reporter.
Congratulations on Stuber.
Thank you.
This is a
Thanks
really,
so much.
really funny movie.
Yeah, it is really funny, right?
Yes.
I really liked it. I was really surprised.
I know. I was surprised that the laughs are continuous. I know a lot of this. It's a huge testament to Kumail Nanjiani as being an amazing leading man and hilarious.
He's a movie star in the ultimate twist. Kumail Nanjiani is a movie star. They screened it at South by Southwest, and I wasn't able to go, but I was secretly excited because I always feel so nervous watching something for the first time near other people and having to be like, ha 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 ha. Yeah. So I watched it by myself, but I was like, I'm so sad I'm not with people because this is so funny.
Tell me a little bit about your character, Becca.
Yeah, so I play Becca, who is Stu's, Kumail Nanjiani plays Stu, who's a sweet baby angel Uber driver guy. And I play his old friend from college who he holds a secret candle for. And she's not picking up on that. And it's funny, it's this big, crazy action chase movie, and I'm in this weird little short film inside the movie, drunk on FaceTime by myself.
Yeah. Yeah, which is
where
really
are
funny.
you? Yeah.
That was a really fun character. You're in your own little niche there.
Yes, yeah, what a weird niche to be in. That was never really me. I was sort of always friend of drunk girl, being what a fun night this is. You okay? So I've been taking field notes on her for a long time. And this movie and my current career is a presentation of those field notes on drunk girl.
Well, one thing I also noticed is that the Stuber is kind of it's got this modern premise being that Kumail is an Uber driver.
Right. But
it's kind of an 80s movie. It's a throwback to the, the classic action comedy.
Yeah, it's sort of many movies in one. It definitely is a love letter to movies like Lethal Weapon and that kind of thing and buddy cop movies of yore, but it also just kind of has a sort of woke narrative, woven in there secretly about it's a real a parody of those movies as well, and a parody and love letter to masculinity, modern masculinity. Mm-hmm. I think that Kumail plays this very in touch with his feelings guy who's a little more like an indoor kid, and Dave Bautista plays a more grizzled macho cop who is not in touch with he's in touch with rage, and that's sort of it. Yeah. And they kind of learn. The lion and the puppy learn from each other.
Yeah. Have you ever had anything strange happen to you in an Uber?
Yeah. I did Uber pool on New Year's Eve in Los Angeles because the rates go way up on, big party nights or whatever. And I got in, and there was a set of identical twin girls. Speaking of field notes on drunk girls, I was my anthropology hat was on. I was but one was in a total blackout, and they just started telling me about their life, and within 5 minutes I was in tears. They're like, we're on our way to our childhood home that our dad built us. He's since passed, but it's so beautiful. Wait till you see the garden. And we pulled up, and it was this Eden of trellis and flower. I mean, I was like, you're right, it's gorgeous. And the driver was not on the same wavelength as us.
One other thing I wanted to say about this movie is your character, she plays the best friend who the guy is secretly in love with, the nice guy who he can never get the girl because he's not able to kind of tell her how he feels. Does this exist in real life, or are male writers writing this unrequited love? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think that I tried to play it with her knowing a little bit what was going on.
Right.
And just kind of being so solipsistic that she was like, okay, anyway, the drama of my life. But yeah, there were a couple, approaching this character, I was like, okay, I definitely don't want to do the tropes of female characters in action movies. The good luck out there. Or they're, they're just one-dimensional Barbie people who are just squinting into the distance, being like, goodbye. Wow, brave. So, yeah, I tried to make her three-dimensionally insane.
That's great. It really worked.
Good.
It worked. Good. Speaking of insane, I am insanely excited about season 3 of Glow. Yay! This show just gives me the feels. I love it so much.
Oh, I'm so glad. Thanks.
We talked about season 2 the last time you were here.
Yeah.
The last we left off, Debbie and Ruth are, kind of finally over. Like, Debbie has unloaded her rage on Ruth that was kind of built up.
Yeah.
And so they're kind of coming back together now. And I feel like Debbie and Ruth are the will they or won't they relationship of Glow.
Yeah, they really are. I guess, and Sam and Ruth, sort of.
I know, yeah.
There's see that too, yeah. Well, whatever. But no, yeah, I love that about our show, that it, I love the way it talks about female friendship, that, like, you can kind of be sort of beautifully cursed to a person. Like, that so much of life, as a girl, or maybe just as a person, you feel pretty invisible to the world, or you're like trying to be like, this is who I am, and people are misinterpreting it. So the people who really see you for who you are, it's hard to let go of those people, especially as you get older and feel a little farther from, like, your 7-year-old self or whatever. At least that's how I feel about my friends. Yeah. So I think that, if they were a different kind of friendship, it would have been very easy to be like, okay, you betrayed me. Our friendship maybe had unhealthy things about it before. Let's not see each other ever again. And they just are cursed to each other. They're cursed to loving each other, which I think is so beautiful, and it's so much fun to play in a scene. It's kind of so much more interesting to play than a romantic scene where sex complicates stuff. It's way more layered and murky and more painful when it's a friend.
Yeah, and it's really cool to see characters who, despite whether they're on good terms with each other or whether they're fighting, everybody on that show is always just saying exactly what they're thinking in the moment. They're not hiding anything. Nobody's hiding a secret relationship or when they find a feeling, they let it out.
Right. Yeah, and I think if you asked the characters, like, if you were to make a TV show about your life, which moments would you pick? And I think they would pick all the opposite moments that you see in Glow. Like, I think you sort of see, you see sort of like up their vulnerability skirts. Like, it's all, they're all of their, you're right, like the neuroses and everything, it's all externalized and like on the page, whether they would want that or not.
Yeah. So it's just very easy for one character to just like say, shut up, or don't talk to me.
Yeah.
You're being this way, you're being that way. Except for Sam can hide his feelings a little bit. But
right, yeah.
Everybody else is just out there.
Yeah, I think Liz Flahav and Carly Mensch, who created Glow, I knew them first as playwrights, and to me, a lot of Glow, especially in season 3, because we're doing the show within the show, the same show every night, it's kind of a love letter to what theater feels like, that you're sort of stuck together in this weird circus bubble of time, and so you're not like putting on your like presentational front self, like you're not trying to pitch yourself to people, you're sort of your rawest, weirdest self with someone that you're working with in the theater or in female wrestling, in our case, and like if the brain is the house, you go right to the attic of a person, and they sort of write for our attics, if that makes any sense, which is so much fun to play.
So this season, we're in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And that's very exciting for me to see those crazy, gaudy sets.
Yes, right. Yeah.
What was that like?
It was so much fun. I mean, we shot still here in LA because I think probably it's hard to find 1986 looking things in Vegas today.
Vegas, yeah.
So we shot on stages here and then in Ontario, California, which is like an hour and a half away, in this really weird, scary hotel. But yeah, the sets are amazing and totally 80s and over the top, and the showgirls' costumes are my favorite. They're
yes. And then, of course, you were working with the iconic Geena Davis.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Yeah, a complete insane dream come true. When Allison Brie and I were talking about who would be our dream casting for the Sandy role, we were like, I mean, someone like, I don't even want to say Geena Davis, but like that would be amazing. But like, obviously, we won't get that. I mean, we shouldn't even say it out loud. And then I could not believe that she wanted to do our show. It was so awesome. And the first time Allie and I met her, I was in full Liberty Bell, she was in full Zoya, and we were walking outside in a parking lot, and the sun was behind us, like, casting our shadows really long, and, like, my crazy Liberty Bell shadow and her crazy Zoya shadow. We were just, like, holding hands, like, look at our shadows, what is our life? And then we looked up, and a car was pulling into the parking lot, and we were both like, I don't know how I know this, but it's Geena Davis. And it was. Like,
wow.
She saw our shadows and our weird silhouettes and, like, pulled up and rolled down the window. We were all just laughing. And she was like, I can't, you guys look insane. We're like, this isn't how I pictured meeting you with no pants on.
There are a couple of things that happened in this season that I wanted to talk about. One is a particular episode where everybody kind of gets stripped of their crazy 80s attire and gets stripped down to go camping.
Yes.
That kind of was an emotional strip down, too, for all of the characters.
Yeah. It's like a movie in the middle of our season and feels... Yeah, most of the season is inside the casino, and you get that weird Vegas feeling of, like, it feels like we've been in here forever. What day is it? What time is it?
Yes.
Like, and then all of a sudden we go camping in the middle of nowhere, and we shot in Vasquez Rocks that looks like dinosaur prehistoric times, like crazy, gorgeous, huge rocks, and it looks like the desert. I think, this season really feels like an All Boats Rising kind of season for the whole cast. Like, you really get to see the ability level of my castmates. I could cry talking about it. I'm just so proud of everyone, and I just sobbed through the whole season. But episode 6, I almost passed out.
A couple of highlights for season 3. You getting to play Zoya.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. I mean, I at first, when they told us we were going to switch, I was nervous about it because, it can be a sensitive thing. I didn't, Allie has made it so her own, and I didn't want to, do a disservice to Zoya. I was like, I'm a little nervous about this. And once we switched, I was like, this is the greatest thing ever. I think Liberty is still, like, my girl. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, it was crazy. They definitely did. We tried on... It's supposed to look a little ragtag and last minute, so the costumes weren't supposed to fit very well, but they made me try on her Zoya costume, and I was like, you guys, we're going to have to make a different costume. The spiral that's happening, isn't a fun, cool exercise.
Yeah. They did
also, she's just, a foot shorter than me.
Right.
The shoulders were, here.
Yeah.
And, this small. Yeah.
They did a good job of showing that kind of, the adjustments that everybody had to make.
Yeah. Beth Morgan is our costume designer. She's so genius about those little weird details and so egoless about, it would make more sense if this costume didn't look as good because the story is that they came up with it last minute. So, yeah, Debbie's, maternity bra and, shoulder pad is showing because she had to rip it because it didn't fit. It would have been very easy for her to be like, it magically fits her perfectly and the costume looks perfect. I think she's just so razor sharp at creating our world.
And then there's also a Christmas themed performance, and I won't get into it because I don't want to do spoilers, but it is definitely the most hilarious thing just watching Allison Brie perform it.
Yes.
It's crazy.
I'm
it's
obsessed
nuts.
with it. Yes. I'm obsessed with Christmas, and when Liz and Carly told me that we were doing a Christmas episode, it just continues to be, we were talking about this a little before, that it doesn't go with my personality that I love the show I'm on. I'm used to being it sucks. But I watch it and I'm like, this is so good. I'm watching smiling ear to ear. My husband's like, you need to control your face. You're watching yourself. I was like, I'm smiling for the ensemble.
And then there's also an underground party that they throw at the underground AIDS benefit.
Oh, I was like, huh?
Yes. Which is
I took underground
amazing.
literally. I was like, we don't go underground this season. Next season. We have to have somewhere to go.
And again, no spoilers, but your costume is amazing.
Oh, isn't it amazing?
Yes.
I want to wear that like to a red carpet event.
Oh,
like,
absolutely. You should definitely do that.
yeah, it's unreal. And the other stuff that happens in that episode is so unreal. That whole episode 9 is like,
Yes. One of the things, actually, that episode reminds me of is that Debbie's character she gets to be angry, she gets to be self-destructive, but she also gets to kind of be a protector and a nurturer to people who are vulnerable.
Yeah.
Being some of the other characters that you meet along the way in season 3 and some of the characters that we already know.
yeah, I think in season 3 you see Debbie kind of falling into old patterns. I think that's so true of life where you're like, oh, thank God, I'm rid of all my demons. Oh, I've graduated. Roll credits. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, this demon still exists. And I think that's Debbie in this season, her dating a guy who possibly would be a sort of ticket out of being a working person and her self-actualizing. I think she's sort of tempted by this glittery thing that's like, it would be easier to just kind of be a trophy wife and kind of sneak out that door. And then I think in episode 9, she remembers, oh no, I am most fulfilled when I'm working and when I'm producing and caretaking in a professional way, and creating and being a boss. And I think that's her reminder.
Yeah.
That underground party that's figuratively underground.
Hopefully we've enticed people to watch season 3.
Yeah, August 9th. It's so good.
August 9th. But the last question I want to ask you is, what was your favorite feats of strength this year?
I would say the match in 10 between Ruth and Carmen is my favorite. It's some of the craziest moves they've ever done. I always feel a little jealous when I see Allison in the ring with someone else. It's like, wow, you guys really practiced that. Seem like you have good chemistry in there. And she feels the same when I'm in the ring with someone else. But yeah, watching that, I felt like a proud mother.
Nice. All right, Betty Gilpin, season 3 of Glow.
Yay.
August 9th.
Yes, August 9th. And Stuber comes out July 12th.
July 12th. Check it out. Netflix and in theaters now.